Hello and welcome to another very special episode of Hack It. It's a Monday morning. We're having a coffee bright and early with someone who doesn't live in London. So therefore, this is a even more special episode. Please welcome Poonacha, who is the CEO of the Chopra Foundation and is also starting and running a really cool AI venture called Cyberhuman, which helps you personalize wellness and longevity too. Hi, Poonacha.
Thank you, Sakshi.
Morning.
Good morning. I'm really excited, bright and
Yeah.
early.
Just yesterday he was in New York,
Yes.
and this morning we are here grabbing a very nice filter coffee.
And I'm excited about the conversation. It's my favorite topic, Jugaad. And
Yeah.
I love that you picked that name.
So today actually is a very special episode because we're also going to tell you a little bit about Jugaad. So we
Yeah.
haven't even introduced Jugaad to our own viewers on
Okay.
our podcast
So I
series.
jumped the gun, really.
Exactly. No, it's perfect. You get straight to the point, which is awesome. So Jugaad is Foodhak's first restaurant. It's its newest venture in Camden Market, where tomorrow, on a very special day, it's World Mental Health Day, we're going to have Deepak Chopra, the Chopra Foundation, and all of our esteemed partners doing the launch event for Jugaad. It's going to be an amazing dinner. And prior to the dinner, Dr. Deepak Chopra is going to be leading a meditation for peace. We're trying to fight the recent racism riots in the UK. It's World Mental Health Day. And what better day to actually inaugurate Jugaad by Foodhak, which is a new way of restaurant dining where we feel that we have found the hack. Jugaad means a hack in Hindi, right? Where we feel that we found the hack to restaurant gourmet style Indian dining. We've made it clean, sustainable, locally sourced ingredients, free from allergens like gluten, dairy, and refined sugars. And Punacha talks about communities, right? Where he was showing me this research this morning by Oxford University that community style sharing,
Comes together. But one thing we also brought up interesting point. We always have community. We dine together. But when you dine, what is our food there, right? So how do you have healthy, clean food? And that's really, I think, a conversation I want to ask you. Actually, a question I want to turn the table over here. Why Jugaad, and what led you from food hack to Jugaad?
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. When I first started, I come from life sciences.
Mhm.
So the world, which is why I loved Sages and Scientists in Boston. People who follow me will see my feeds were like obsessed with it, is because I like to follow the science, whether it's Ayurveda or it's alternative medicine or it's food is medicine, music is medicine, energy is medicine, right? Like we need to follow the data, right? And so I used to be a life sciences investor. I have a biotech background. First job was at Pfizer, and then kind of been investing in the latest technologies in life sciences. And what I was finding was that by the time you get a disease, it's too late. And I spoke about this on stage as well, right? And one of the key pillars of longevity is food and nutrition. It's something you consume 3 times a day, very, very high frequency. It's something that's in your control. And unfortunately, we have kind of lost our way a little bit after industrial revolution, trying to feed the world, their mouths. We just give them a lot of stuff which is not high quality. It's hybridized. It results in glycemic shocks in your body. Your organs are overworking, and therefore one day they just stop working, and then you get chronic diseases. And chronic diseases actually can be reversed with lifestyle again.
Absolutely.
Right. So this is the conclusion I was coming to, and I think it was fate, it was destiny. I ended up developing quite a rare and life threatening liver breakdown, which the doctor said, look, there's no links with lifestyle or food. And I didn't buy that answer. I did what I do best, which is I looked at the clinical research, I followed the data, changed my diet, and I reversed it. So I think it was my calling, right? Both professionally and personally to launch Foodhak. So we launched a couple of years ago as a meal subscription service because at the end of the day, if you subscribe to these meals for your longevity goals, for example, I want to reverse my cholesterol and I subscribe to this for 3 months, I will reverse my cholesterol, right? And then the world changed. The world is an ever changing machine, as Deepak talks about, right? So we started in this sort of middle post pandemic era where meals were doing really well. Then we saw a massive demand in our snacks, FMCG range, because the world is back with a bang. Everyone's out and about traveling after COVID, right? So we launched our CPG range and went deeper into that, and over this period, we were always building this data bank of cleaned up research where we're understanding ingredient X equals Y. ingredient helps with Y disease, ingredient A harms
Mhm.
B disease, right? So we have this data bank. So we decided that, you know what, people who are not able to access our food products for whatever reasons, they should have a free mobile app, a
Mhm.
nutritionist in their pocket, where, using Gen AI tools,
Mhm.
chatbot, etc., right? We are making this knowledge accessible to them. Food is
Mhm.
medicine accessible. So if you're a diabetic sitting in middle of England,
Right.
right, you now have low glycemic ingredients and recipes at your fingertips. And if
Right.
you ever need food, hey, buy some food,
Right.
no problem,
Right.
right? So that's how that happened. And then I guess just building the brand, we got so much love from the market
Mhm.
that we got this amazing opportunity.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a great commercial opportunity because we're a startup.
Right.
We have limited resources. We can't be starting,
Mhm.
full-fledged restaurants because, everything needs capital and resources.
Right.
So this one was a very attractive commercial opportunity where someone loved our brand,
Mhm.
our products, and said, listen, why don't you bring this to restaurants?
Mhm.
So it was again a brand new challenge for us saying, okay, we've done it in meals, we've done it in FMCG, we've done it in tech. Now let's take it to restaurants,
Right.
right? And let's redefine the way you interact in restaurants because community is important. And at restaurants, you build community because
Mhm.
you come with a group of friends. But what's the point if you're eating food that is
Right.
causing inflammation,
Right.
right? You wake up the next morning with regrets.
Right.
Life is too short to have
Right.
regrets.
And I think absolutely right. Especially with Indian food. Like I love Indian food. Indian food is so comforting, but right after that, you feel heavy.
Yeah.
And I think what you're trying to do is really kind of bring that lightness,
Yeah.
right? And that kind of healthy eating. You touched on a couple of things, which I think why I'm excited about the conversation we are having. Because eating good, eating healthy is great, but how do you make it accessible? I think leveraging what you've done, leveraging AI and technology, is to make it accessible to all. So people doesn't matter where they are, what their economic background is, they can at least get started.
Yeah.
And for us at the foundation and with Deepak, it's really important for us to make it a global and make it really education awareness. Let's get a couple of things we'll talk about, like sages and scientists.
Yeah.
One of the things we spoke about is the food mood connection,
Yeah.
the food and the brain connection. Uma Naidu talks about it. Shabani Seth talked about metabolic psychiatry. There's a huge connection between the gut and the brain, right? It's all food. It's all in the gut. The gut-brain axis, the vagus nerve, and also, like Deepak says, 95% is lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
But what I believe Jugaad as a restaurant can do is bring that lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
When you go
Yeah.
to a restaurant, it's about community. You connect, you eat the same food, you kind of create that bond,
Yeah.
and hopefully you can take it back into where you are.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows eating healthy is good for you.
Yeah.
People know the ingredients, but then the question you want that experience. I feel creating these spaces where people can come and experience
Yeah.
what it feels like,
Yeah.
they'll probably take it back home,
Yeah.
right? That's kind of
Absolutely.
I think the missing link, in
Absolutely.
creating the experiences.
Absolutely. And I think what's been amazing in this journey is to like just very authentically, platonically find partners who are aligned with us. And at actually tomorrow's amazing event, you're going to see some of these partners in our goodie bags and all
Right.
of that. But I think that's kind of how we came across
Right.
Chopra Foundation and its works and how we just sort of from day zero bonded, right?
Right.
So I think it would be great to first learn about the
Sure.
Chopra Foundation and Cyberhuman.
Right. I think from my perspective and the three areas we are focused on, which I think are kind of very relevant to what you're talking about. The first is mental health, right? We are super connected and very lonely today, right? If we have, and statistically, look at the stat, every 40 seconds we lose someone to suicide globally. It is a silent pandemic. And so what do you do about it, right? So two things, we started a movement called Never Alone to really bring about connection and intimacy, and that's something which we rolled out. We have a program called Love in Action, which I think I'm very passionate about. The second area of focus is the whole area of longevity and health span. People are going to live longer, but how do you live better? And it's about what we call the wisdom of age and the vitality of youth. You want to live longer, yes, but how do you kind of live healthier, better? And this is where food plays a big part. You want vitality. We talk about Eastern wisdom tradition. You want prana, right? You want to eat food which has prana in it. So it kind of gives you the vital life force. And the third area of focus for us is really creating conscious leadership, right? We talk about, it's not about your LinkedIn profile. I can Google Sakshi's LinkedIn profile, but what's your soul profile? Who am I? What do I want? What's my purpose? And what am I grateful for? When leaders start leading from the soul, when you find your soul, like, and your passion for food as medicine, transformation happens in your family, in the organization. and everybody around you. So that's kind of the mission of the foundation. And Deepak and me, over the years, have always looked at how do we take knowledge, democratize it. And that really started the genesis. People always ask me, what's the succession plan for Deepak? And how are you going to do it? I said, AI. Because AI today is really, it's amazing what you can do. And today with Cyberhuman and Digital Deepak, we have actually taken all his 95 plus books, all his content, and really created a model how to interact with Deepak. You can ask him any question from what do I do for acne to my relationships to transcendence, and the AI is there in your pocket. And not only just for Deepak, but for people, all the experts we work with. And that's really the focus, and also finding like-minded partners in the journey. If you look at well-being, we say there are 7 things you can do to return the body to homeostasis. First is nutrition, which is what you're working on. Second is movement. How do you move the body? Third is managing emotions. Fourth is having a mind-body connection. Fifth is sleep. Sixth is connection with community. And seventh is nature. When you do these 7 things, the body returns to homeostasis or healing. The question is, when you live in London, how do you do these 7 things? And how do you can remind people? This is where technology comes in. Can technology become that kind of nudge in your pocket, right? To help you like, okay, Sakshi, you've been sitting too much, just move, stand up, which you did earlier on. I've been sitting, I got to stand up, or I need to increase my thing. These are kind of nudges to help people remind these tiny habits, micro habits, right? Which we want to bring in technology. So that's a fundamental premise. And for us is to find like-minded people. They say it takes a village to bring up a child, right? What is the village in well-being? And so finding people, aligned partners who can take people through this journey is of vital importance for us in the foundation. I think with Foodhak, when I initially started the conversation, was that he said everybody, people talk about. I think BJ Fogg at Stanford talks about don't tell people to stop smoking, get them to start running. If they love running, they'll stop smoking, right? So don't tell people to stop snacking. Tell them to snack, give them a better alternative. If they love the snack, they'll pick the right alternative. People just don't know what's the right alternative. And if you give people the right alternative, I'm hooked onto your snack, right? So I'm like, when I'm traveling, I'm going to have your granola, right? So it is now accessible. If I didn't have it, I'll probably go for the Pringles, right? So can you not tell people to stop, but get them to start a new habit? And I think that's key. That's key for us.
Absolutely. I think this is exactly why I started Foodhak. Because I felt that a lot of people have started talking about it, which is great, which is what the world needs. Like the smartest professors,
Right.
smartest doctors. I mean, look at Deepak, he's a cardiologist by training, right? And he's now kind of made that shift to say, actually, I think Western medicine can save me, but actually, I think that these 7 principles can make me live longer and disease free, but I don't even need the Western medicine and its side effects, right?
Yeah, the mind-body connection now is unquestionable, right? And I think with Deepak, the work he's been doing, over the years, he's telling you that, there is something called mind-body, and the actions are actually important. There's genetics, but the bigger thing is epigenetics, right? And then the gut microbiome. So genome, epigenome, microbiome. And I think if you understand this connection, we can actually start changing and even reversing, our conditions we have. I think for me personally, I think at 54, I have a very different perspective to life, right? So I'm always looking at how do you optimize your body, right? So it's not about peak performance. For me, it's about peak living.
Yes.
How do you live your best self?
Yes.
Peak performance athletes.
Yes.
But for me, it's like, how do I get off a flight and still be functioning at optimal levels? And for me, then I need to understand what is happening with my body. And I think today we're getting to a point where we don't have to guess, right? We don't have to guess anymore. We call it the 5 Ps. The future well-being is very personalized. Sakshi has a very personal profile. It's not just like, this is like, for me, it's like Indian male, da da da. It's very personalized. Second, once you're personalized, you can predict your health outcomes. You need a process, a platform, and participation. When you do these 5 Ps, you can then really look at the person as a very individual and figure out what's best for them.
Yes.
Right? And that's where modern medicine is going. And we believe we should focus on prevention versus finding just the cures.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And I think this is actually one of the things our mobile app does, is this personalized understanding of you, like your height, weight, gender, ethnicity, your issues. You could say, look, I have cholesterol. My allergens, dairy is an allergen. And my goal is I want to reverse my cholesterol, but I also want better skin. And suddenly, like, this is where Gen AI, your models, it pulls out what research says about you. Poonacha, or about you, Sakshi. Like here are, like, I don't know, when I use the app, I feel like, and we also have these weekly or daily food hacks.
Okay.
And every time I go to the app and I see my food hack, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I didn't think of adding pomegranate seeds on a salad, because pomegranate seeds will actually help me get to my goals or whatever. So there is this little aha moments every day, right? Which again goes back to your cigarette smoking example of like, give them these aha moments of these small little hacks you can do. They wouldn't want to smoke the cigarette. They'll want to live healthier.
And imagine maybe in the app, maybe this is something you can look at adding, is like always say, instead of like, who's like me? Imagine it says, Poonacha, there's somebody like you who's there. I want to connect. It's not about Poonacha worked at Chopra Foundation, somebody else worked at Chopra Foundation, or I like to work at Motorola, so I should connect with somebody else. Who's going through my kind of lifestyle? Who's eating like me? And maybe there's somebody in Chile or somebody in London. And I would think I want to understand who they are and find what resonates.
Correct.
And I think there is this area of really creating connection, even with food. Imagine social network of food.
That'll be really cool.
Who's like me. And I think when a woman is going through menopause or perimenopause, they want to understand what are other women doing. And this is what we call sangha. Right? When you talk about social connection, it's about finding your sangha, finding your tribe. And I think finding the tribe of people who are going through my kind of lifestyle would be fascinating.
Yeah, sure.
And also other thing which I think as this technology improves is also looking at what I'm finding is like, how do you find awe? Right? People don't, there's magic. Like this space right now is magic.
Yeah.
People need to find magic.
Yeah.
And as a child, you find moments of awe. Right? And today, if I think about it, every 40 seconds, we have somebody who is impacted, dying by suicide. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I think we all have to find magic and awe. And I think everything we do, I think we got to bring that back into the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
So this is, I think, once again, looking at design and looking at technology. I think we can bring those hacks. Like, here is a hack for ananda or bliss, right? And we kind of share those moments.
Yeah. That's so amazing, actually, what you said. And I really do think that technology can solve it along with humans. For example, I think the reason why I absolutely loved Sages and Scientists in Boston is because I felt that it was bringing the best professors from Harvard, Stanford, people working, have dedicated their life to just Alzheimer's. Or just one particular subject, right? And they're sharing with you that, look, even the latest clinical research shows that, lifestyle, wellness, meditation, yoga, food, companionship, sleep, happiness, magic, these kind of things actually are helping you. Music. For me, the biggest thing was Alzheimer's. Once you get it, frankly, you can't do anything about it. You have to start working on it 10 to 20 years before you get it. And you can do it simply with music, small things like music, certain megahertz,
40 hertz
frequency.
So I think Rudy Tanzi talked about it. So interesting you mentioned this. So when I did my genomic analysis, I have the APOE2 gene, which basically predisposes me to Alzheimer's. Right?
Okay.
So now the interesting thing is that one would freak out. Or somebody like me will say, no, good to know.
Okay.
So now let me do everything I can to reduce my inflammation in the body so I can sleep. So what happens? Education, awareness is key to transformation. It's like driving a car with a dashboard.
Yeah.
So even though I have the APOE gene, it's a gene, it's a switch which gets turns on and off, right?
Wow.
So one could be like, what? I'm going to get Alzheimer's. Or I could be like, I know it's there, so let me work on it.
Right.
So I think this is where awareness is such an important aspect.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I'm glad you mentioned sages because that feedback is so important for us. One, because Deepak and me always talked about, so why are we so obsessed with celebrities? And each one of the people who spoke, Rudy Tanzi, Dean Ornish, published a paper on reversing Alzheimer's with lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right? Which is amazing.
That's insane.
You had people like Avi Loeb, you had like Dava Newman, MIT Media Labs, you had Shivani Seth on your panel, Uma Naidu, Srini Pillai, legends in their own right.
Yeah.
They are the rock stars.
Yeah.
But they might only have 4,000 people or 2,000 people on Instagram.
Right.
Or some of them don't even have a profile.
That's true.
But you need to know them. Because in life, in your journey, when somebody, your loved one, has an issue or has Alzheimer's or who do you call? Who do you know? And this is where I think we should definitely explore about how do you look at food as medicine and how do you bring this knowledge and awareness, right? So it's personal story. I don't have to share to anybody. When my father passed last year, He was diagnosed in the last year with Parkinson's, right? He died at 86, very in his sleep. And then I decided that, Poonacha, you've never really never got any study done. Maybe you should just go look and see what's going on. So that's when I did actually my entire full body MRI, my DEXA, my basically my genomic analysis, and basically my genomic analysis say I'm 90% profile in the category for Alzheimer's and for gout,
Oh,
right?
wow. Okay.
So I said, okay, good to know.
Wow, good to know.
Now let me kind of work on it,
Yeah.
right? So imagine going 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm 54.
Yeah.
And I could be going like da 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 da, nothing happened. And then you're like, oh shoot,
10 years
it's a
later.
bit later,
Yeah.
can't do anything.
Wow.
But this is where I think AI, technology, modern medicine,
Yeah.
I still have to do the 7 things. I got to eat better. I got to move. I got to manage emotions, mind, body, sleep, connection with community and nature. But now I can accelerate my commitment to that program.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that personal story because I think hearing people's personal stories is so empowering for the others and
Right.
it's so inspiring for the others.
Right.
Because you can either just like wait and live your life without any data, and then suffer from a disease which
Right.
is incurable or too hard to cure, or you can actually get off your asses
Right.
and you can
Take
actually
action.
take action. I mean, there are so many companies now who are trying to democratize the whole diagnostics piece, which
Right.
is how do you get all your tests done in a reasonably cost effective way. Look, I
Right.
mean, at the end of the day, as technology grows,
Yeah.
costs will come down, right? But the end, if you have access to these things, go and get yourselves tested.
Right.
And if you have these genes, you're unlucky to
Right.
have these genes, you can actually now do something about it. You
Right.
can take these 7 steps more mindfully, more purposefully every day,
Right.
and you'll be able to reverse this.
Right.
Because only 5% of these
Are
diseases
fully
are
penetrant genes.
exactly.
And these are just switches, right? Epigenetic switches. But if I was just la-di-da abusing myself and going through it, then yeah, guess what? It is going to happen,
yeah.
right? And I think this is where I know today that if I watch my nutrition,
Yeah.
which is going to be so important,
Yeah.
because my gut and the brain are connected, the vagus nerve, then serotonin, dopamine is the gut, so I have to sleep better. My food is number one thing to help me sleep
And that's
better.
the hardest for you because you travel so much.
I travel so much,
Yeah.
but then this is where I think, how do I manage
Yeah.
my travel, like my selection, my
Yeah.
food? So if there is a network of restaurants I like, the food I like,
Yeah.
chances are, if there was like a Jugaad like restaurant in New York, I would say, you know what, let me go back, let me order it from there.
Yeah.
So I start planning it,
Yeah.
right? So all I can do is minimize the risk
Absolutely.
profile.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
And that's where we come in,
Right.
right? Because we're just trying to surround you with another choice, which
Right.
is now healthier, cleaner,
Right.
helps you with longevity, right? You don't have a choice today.
Right.
I started this business because like I was a young parent and you have lack of sleep, both of you are working, life's busy, you're trying to spend time with your kid, right? And you get to a coffee shop after dropping the kid off to try and get a coffee and
Right.
something like some light healthy breakfast, and you're just surrounded by processed sugars everywhere, right? Like not even one choice
Right.
do you have on that menu. I think things have become a lot better, but I do think like this is where Foodhak comes in. If in that coffee shop I ever found like a pack of our crackers, I would order the coffee, I would take those crackers, or I would have that healthy breakfast or the granola or whatever, and I think hopefully as we grow this brand and as we take it internationally, people like you and me who travel a lot will always have a better for you food show. And hopefully there'll be more brands like us.
Absolutely. I think the goal for me is reason I started doubling down over the last 2 years, and also kind of, in fact, was the birth of Cyberhuman. I realized like I needed something which would, at home, at work, at play, on the road, constantly remind me of what to do.
That's true.
Right? Because I needed that nudge
Yeah.
to say, Poonacha, don't do this, don't do that. I love food.
Yeah.
I'm South Indian. I love my rice. I love my dal. I love butter chicken, right? So and it's my comfort.
Yeah.
Because anytime, whatever it is, I need that.
Yeah.
The question now is that I can't stop it.
Yeah.
What's my best option?
Yeah.
How do I find the best alternative
Yeah.
to do what I need to do? And I think that's really where I think today technology can augment it.
Absolutely.
More than artificial intelligence, augmenting your intelligence so you can live your best life.
Absolutely.
And your best self.
I think this is where you're going to have a dairy-free butter chicken.
Right.
From Jugaad.
And by the way, I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, wow.
And most Indians are, right? So I think I'm generalizing. It is a huge issue. I only found that out after my genomic analysis.
Ah.
I'm like, why the hell do I go to Starbucks and order a latte and feel like shit?
Now you know why.
Now I finish. Like, by the way, you're lactose intolerant. I'm like, wow,
Wow.
good to know.
See,
Like, you know,
at Foodhak, actually, we believe that most of the world's population is
right,
gluten and lactose intolerant.
right,
It's just a scale from 0 to 10. Some
right,
people are like 10 on 10, where it shows
right,
up and you feel it instantly. Some people might be 2 or 3, where it doesn't
right,
show.
right,
You don't feel the best. You kind of know, like, but you are. And some people might not even feel anything.
right. So for me, it was one of the things that I wasn't the best. I kind of switched from latte to black. I really
Hmm.
didn't know it, but I'm like, I'll
Hmm.
just wasn't the best. Then I realized, okay, this is why, and hence black
See,
coffee.
I haven't tested myself, but I'm pretty sure I'm lactose intolerant.
Right,
Every time I have dairy based product, I don't feel good. I don't
right,
this I feel bloated. I
right,
know I'm lactose intolerant. I'm pretty sure. I just haven't got a test to prove it.
right,
And this is our thinking that I
right,
think the problem with the quality of gluten and the quality of lactose today, lactose is all pumped with hormones. First
right,
of all, it's animal cruelty.
right,
You tell me,
right.
like when a cow's,
Cycle of
uh,
milk production is
yeah,
done. Yeah, you keep on.
offspring is born, that offspring is supposed to be having its mother's milk,
Right,
but it's just taken away
right,
instantly. Just imagine the trauma you're giving
right,
that life, the
right,
soul,
right,
right? And then you're pumping it with hormones to
right,
try and make it a machine to try and serve the rest of,
right,
non-cow offsprings
right,
with that cow's milk. It just doesn't make any sense.
right,
So I think stripping it off of of the dairy and the gluten, for example, in the butter
right,
chicken, for some reason it just makes it lighter.
right,
You will walk away from that restaurant without feeling that curry hangover
right,
that you normally have,
right.
which is what we're going to experience.
Tomorrow, I'm looking forward to it. I think, and also I think, from my perspective, just to bring things together, I think what I'm excited about working with also startups, right? It's about finding that conscious leader and working with conscious startups who can really go out in the world. So you asked me the question, like, are we going to be focusing on well-being? Pretty much. I think we want to find companies who are focusing on nutrition, who are focusing on movement, who are helping people move. In
Mm,
fact, Yoga Vasishta said there's infinite flexibility is the key to immortality.
mm,
Flexibility in the body mind,
mm,
right? So how do
mm,
you get people to move? It's not so much about gym, it's about just movement,
mm,
flexibility. How
mm.
do you help with emotional regulation? And this is where technology can come and assist people.
Yeah,
And we want to bring together an ecosystem of startups, companies who can really come together to help people in their well-being journey.
yeah,
Because the journey to well-being is not easy. 'Cause we have life which happens. Everybody is busy. Everybody has responsibilities.
yeah,
But can we use
yeah.
technology to augment, to bring a better quality of life?
Absolutely. I think everyone needs help. I mean, the
Right,
way our society is designed, it's designed for inflammation,
right,
right? And like it's nice to have high willpower,
right,
but you're a human being at the end of the day. The day you've had bad sleep, your
right,
willpower next day is automatically going to be low,
right,
which is where you need your technology
right,
friend in your pocket to say, no, you can
right,
do this.
right.
You can do this. This is going
I,
to be another day of good choices.
I think we were talking about Deepak earlier about how he's reverse aging.
Yeah.
And it's a very important attribute to share, which I think is very relevant. What he talks about slowing down the arrow of time,
Mm,
right? So as you age, how do you not stop aging? How do you slow down the attributes of aging,
mm,
which is reducing entropy in the body? And the number one thing is stress.
yeah.
If you can just take stress out of everything you
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
every action,
Yeah.
you automatically start slowing down
Yeah.
stress and anxiety, and then the effects of stress and anxiety on the body.
Yeah, but
Right,
see, stress is a secret killer, right? No
right.
one knows how to measure it. No one knows how to control it. No one knows how
And it's happening
to.
all the time.
It's happening all the time. Sometimes you are stressed and you don't even know you're stressed, but your
Right,
skin may show you that you are stressed because
right,
it'll have reactions, or your gut,
right,
or or eczema
right,
is, like different things can happen.
right,
Stress is a very hard one to actually manage, but I do think these 7 things
right,
can help you, like being in nature, for example.
right,
I do feel helps you understand your body and helps
right,
you listen to it,
right.
and you will start picking up those stress markers.
And also, I think Rumi said God's language is silence. Everything else is poor translation. I think nature and silence is God's language. When I travel in nature, first of all, it's like you feel awe, right? You look at these huge trees, you're like, wow, this has been around for a long time.
Yeah,
And let's say you're walking bare feet,
yeah,
you're automatically grounding
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Earth is negatively charged, so you're removing oxidative stress. You
Mm,
feel much better. It's
yeah,
called forest bathing,
yeah,
right, in Japan. So I think for us, really connecting back to the primal attribute of who we are designed to be running around.
Yeah.
That's what children are. They run around and they're flexible, they're having fun. Then we sit down in chairs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
that's it.
Indoors.
They say sitting is the new smoking.
Yeah. You
And
know what? Next podcast we're going to record in a park,
But walking
around in London.
and then
It's not going to be easy for our social media managers to be holding.
and the audio quality and all of that. But inherently, one of the things you talked about as sages, our intention with me and Deepak was that it has to be joyful.
Yeah.
And we said we want to create an experience where everybody here feels they're part of a family.
Yeah.
And there's no title, there's no badge. Everybody feels like we're all together in this journey.
Yeah.
And I think that's an intention. Every time we do something, like even this conversation, our true intention is that people should understand why we are doing this.
Absolutely.
And the reason we are doing this is because everybody should feel they can take something away.
Yeah.
And the one thing which I want people to take away today from me personally is that food is medicine.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm doing it for myself because I have to do it. I don't have much of a choice. And when food is medicine, the second thing, I need to reduce stress, which I need to relieve in my food. Two, I need to improve my social connections. Three, I need to sleep better. Four, I need to constantly create new synaptic connection, which is learning. Right?
Yeah.
So what Rudy Tanzi talks about, the SHIELD program.
Right.
Right. So these are things which I want to kind of incorporate into my life. And this is a big part. So food, community, learning is something for me I want to bring into my life every day.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I love that. And I think this is why, one, like Foodhak as a company, obviously we're so aligned, but we love partnering with sages and scientists, Chopra Foundation, Deepak Chopra, all of the works you do because, of this alignment and this passion, this shared passion that we have for, making the world healthier and better.
Right.
Just happier.
Right.
Whether it's through nutrition through us, whether it's through mindfulness through you guys and technology commonly. That's why I'm so excited about tomorrow, especially.
Right. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I think for people listening to this, I think once you share what happens tomorrow, I think for me, what I call it is the butterfly effect, right? You start with a small intention and it's going to manifest itself out. Sankalpa.
Yeah.
Right? The small intention is that we need peace in the world. And you start that off.
Yeah.
And then when we look at this a decade from now, we're like, wow, we started this in this restaurant and this conversation and look where it went, right?
Yeah.
And when I look at Deepak and I think about the time when we took meditation online and the Oprah Chopra 21-day meditation, then came Calm, Headspace, Insight Timer, started a movement of online meditation.
Yeah.
Before meditation was very much you go to a person, sit down and do that. And now we're going to the next level. We're basically saying that everybody needs well-being in their pocket, right? That is becoming the genesis of cyberhuman. We said, why should people feel being alone, right? Always feel connected. And for me, it's about not, like I said, like you. If I'm having the dark night of the soul, and if I hit this button, and it says, Poonacha, you're not alone. There are 5 people like you.
Yeah.
You might just looking in your backyard, but these 5 people one is in Mongolia, one could be in Myanmar, one could be in South America, and they're going through what you're going through.
Yeah.
You're like, well, okay, let me understand. So you don't feel alone.
Yeah.
And I think when somebody goes and gets a diagnosis of cancer or breast cancer, they feel like, why me? Then you hit this magic button. It says, there are 10 people going through this journey.
Yeah.
And maybe on the Foodhak app, there are 5 people who are going through this journey of breast cancer together. And this is how they're hacking their food.
Yeah.
And this is how they're looking at nutrition. People feel connected.
Yeah.
And that's what we need.
Absolutely.
What we need is intimacy.
Yeah.
Right? Intimacy.
Yeah. No, I think, that's a really, really good point. And we really underestimate how lonely people are and the effect of that and links with suicide. And I think when we started putting this launch event for our first restaurant tomorrow, we were going through a bit of a hard time in the UK and in London especially. I mean, I have been here. I grew up in India and I left India when I was 18. I mean, it's been 20 years I've been here. So UK is more of a home than India is in many ways. I've spent longer here than I guess I have in India. And London's always been this diverse, metropolitan, charming city where I've never felt a minority just because of the color of my skin or because of my accent or because English not being my first language, even though I'm more comfortable in English
Yeah.
than I am, I guess, in my own language. But I never felt it because, I saw people of all colors, I saw people of all nationalities, of all religions, of
Right.
all beliefs around me everywhere, like even working at Pfizer.
Right.
And it's weird to see, recently
Right.
these riots that happened. I felt really sad,
Hmm.
where because of various political and macroeconomic issues, people felt that they had to riot against immigrants,
Right.
and it's just like, it was really sad. And I was talking to Meena about this,
Right.
and she was saying the same thing, that I grew up in this country. This is my home,
Right.
so we must try and do something, for peace.
Right.
And I'm so glad stars aligned, and I couldn't have found a better person than Dr. Deepak Chopra
Yeah.
to come to this restaurant, lead a meditation for peace on World Mental Health Day, because I really feel that his meditation takes you to it transcends you. I obviously witnessed it
Right.
firsthand at Sages,
Right.
where we were sitting and there were 400 of us in this
Right.
room. It wasn't like a small number of people. It was 400 of us. We were seated on this beautiful table setting, and he led this meditation. There was, no alcohol, no food, nothing. And I think everyone just felt high.
Right.
It's the energy, right? He really, really, so I'm very excited about that. It's going to be live streamed
Right.
by the Evening Standard throughout
Right.
the UK, and obviously all of our channels, including Deepak. And I couldn't be more grateful. Um, and I'm just happy that I just couldn't have found a better brand partner. The world is surrounded by celebrities, and
Right.
you open the newspaper and you see, this young new celebrity. But honestly, I couldn't have thought of a better partner than Deepak, where number one, I have been doing, after
Right.
I met him, I've been doing his 21 days of abundance
Right.
on Spotify. And it's such a happy way to start your morning,
Right.
frankly. I
Right.
couldn't think of a better way. So I've been waking up at 6 and I make
Right.
sure I do one. It only takes 15 minutes.
Right.
Super impactful. So much so that actually tomorrow's name cards that we
Right.
have for table seating, there's
Okay.
about 70 of us being seated. And each one is going to have one of those 21
Beautiful.
manifestations,
Okay.
and we're going to assign it to whoever is going to be
Right.
sitting on that. I think it's very, very effective. And I think people are going to take that affirmation
Right.
and it's going to be theirs forever.
Yeah. And I think this is exactly this affirmation, right? I think it's almost like when Deepak does a meditation, I feel there's a secret encoding and embedding of intentions,
Mm.
which kind of then manifest itself. So I'm excited about tomorrow and what's going to unfold, and let's make some magic.
Amazing.
Make
Well,
magic.
thank you for
Thank you,
taking out the
Sakshi.
time on your short 48-hour visit to do this little impromptu interview.
I love it. I think the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to our collaboration.
Yes.
And I'm excited to bring sages and scientists to London, to India. And I think I'm looking for like-minded people.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we are excited to do that together.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a believer of what you guys shared in Boston. It was so impactful. I feel like if I could practice even a few of those things that research has
Right.
shown to be effective, I think that could be life-changing. And I think the rest of the world deserves it.
Right.
I think UK deserves it. I think India deserves. I think the rest of the world deserves it. So hopefully, more to come.
Absolutely.
On this.
The best is yet to come.
Yes, the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very grateful.
This is awesome.
Thank you for listening to Hack It. I hope you enjoyed the insights and stories that we shared today. Are you hungry for more? Follow us on Instagram at The Foodhak. That's a hack without a C. Or subscribe now to be the first to hear about our next episode when it drops. See you next time.